Hello and welcome to the Herts and Essex A-Level Design Technology Product Design Induction lesson. We asked our Year 12 students to make a few comments on design technology at Herts and Essex, and this is what they came up with.
Hello, I'm Josh Shepherd and I'm in Year 12. I've chose the course as I like to design and create things using my imagination. I've enjoyed being in the workshop and learning new practical skills. We've used a range of equipment that can be used on multiple materials, allowing us to create a wide variety of items. It's also allowed us to get involved outside of school in competitions, which was a great experience.
Hi, I'm Joe, I'm Year 12 and I'm here to talk to you about DT. The reason I chose DT was because I've always had a passion for it since GCSE and I've wanted to continue that, and hopefully it will lead me to a possible career in something DT related like design. I've really enjoyed taking part in the subject, particularly the practical side of things, but also the design aspects too. It's really fun to design something that could become more useful in people's everyday life, especially people I know. For example, I designed a phone amplifier the other week, and I could think of so many people that would find it useful. Another part of DT I enjoy is learning new techniques to better myself in designing and also the practical side of things. In DT, there is a lot of design and practical, but there's also a theory side to it too. You learn about different materials and how you can apply them to our projects and get a better understanding of them. There's also different manufacturing processes that we learn about, and also different finishes. You learn about the digital design and manufacturer and other stuff too. Yeah, the workshops we have at Herts and Essex are incredible. There's loads of high quality machinery. We have a laser cutter, a lathe, a vacuum former, disc sander, and also a wide range of quality handheld tools. And with this equipment, I've managed to complete many projects to prepare me for my NEA. These include designing a chair in the style of the Bauhaus era movements, designing a table lamp in the style of a certain company that produces them, and then also the Star Pack project, which has designed some packaging for a product which was previously like not recyclable. Overall, I've really enjoyed DT here and would highly recommend it to anyone who's thinking about DT at A level. I've really enjoyed the school as a whole, even though I was new from an external school, and it was really scary at first, considering I came from St Nick's, which was there was about 30 of us in a year group, and then I went from 30 in a form. And I think there was three of us that went from St Nick's to Herts and Essex, so it's a big change. But I'm happy I'm here, especially and I've settled down, and I've met some good people, made some good friendships, hopefully for life. And yeah, that's that. Pick DT.
So why should you take product design at Herts and Essex? Well, the course gives you theoretical knowledge and practical skills that you need to design and prototype new products. Over the course of the 2 years, you'll make a range of mini projects with myself and Mrs. Cadell. This can often lead to careers in a variety of areas. Our graduates have gone on to do architecture, interior design, and engineering. What skills will you gain and develop from A-level design, technology, product design? Well, you'll gain a range of practical and theoretical skills, and these cover the areas of research, investigation, design and creativity. You will do plenty of problem solving, planning, working in a team with other members of the group. You'll do lots of prototyping and manufacture, evaluation and communication of your ideas. This will prepare you really well for your NEA. A fair bit of your work will be involved with appreciating the relationship between design, materials and manufacture, and marketing, and this again will come out in a lot of the mini projects that you'll undertake during your time in Year 12. The course is assessed in 3 main areas. You have Paper 1, Paper 2 and the NEA. Technical principles are assessed in Paper 1, and this is centred around the applications, characteristics and classifications of a range of materials: woods, metals, polymers, smart materials. We also discuss how materials are enhanced to be suitable for product application and the different forming and redistribution techniques that can be used on these materials. We also look at how different finishes can be used to enhance the appearance or improve the function of products. Designing and making principles are assessed in Paper 2, and this is centred around design influences, how key historical design styles, movements have influenced designers. You will also look at how cultural changes have impacted the work of designers, and all of this work can be used in your NEA to support your investigation and analysis and testing of your project. The non-exam assessment is a substantial design and make project. It's worth 50% of the A level. You'll use all of the theoretical knowledge and practical knowledge that you've gained from technical principles and designing and making principles to apply these to your large making project.
As part of this induction lesson, you will be asked to do some quick sketching. I'm sure you can all draw, but here are a couple of techniques that you might like to use. So I'm just doing a sheet of some chairs as an example. I've drawn a few out already, but I want to fill my page with more ideas. So one of the things you could do, which I've started already up in this top left corner, is to draw a crate. Crating is a technique known amongst designers and drawers, whereby you draw a box or a crate and then you can start to map out your drawing within that. So for example, we could do sort of quite a low chair here with a low seat with a section that sort of falls away like this perhaps and comes up to the back and back down. So you can see how I'm starting to draw it out within that box. Doesn't matter if it's going off the page a little bit. Just want to try and get as many ideas on this page as possible. Okay, I can then sort of start to add some more details. So the thickness of the material. It's not great, but it's okay at the moment. But of course you can refine it by adding to your lines and by doing a little bit of shading and that sort of thing as well. It might be that actually that curls underneath perhaps. Okay, so that needs to curl there. You can see that started to map out this shape. I'm actually missing a line there as well, as you might have noticed. So I need a line there and a line there. And then this can be highlighted a little bit more as I start to sort of develop my idea. Okay, so you can start to see that sort of coming together. It might be then that I need to shade it slightly so that we've got some idea of texture and the light falling on the shape. So don't be afraid to just kind of go for it. And we need some shading coming down there. Maybe a little here, just where that meets that point. Okay, so we can start to see how that's forming. This part inside is going to be darker because there's less light inside there. You can really get some different tones in there from light to dark. So you can start to see the 3D shapes. And don't be afraid to sort of shade in different directions, it doesn't matter. Just to add some depth. I need to highlight that a little more. Okay, so then if that's dark, then this needs to be darker. So think about where your light is coming from. Don't be afraid if you make mistakes. It really doesn't matter. The whole point of sketching quickly to get your ideas down is just that. Get your ideas down as fast as you can it's like talking onto paper, really. So rather than talking about your ideas, you're drawing. You can start to see a chair design there. So I've got some other ones here as well. You might like to sort of come back to some of those later on if you've done some other ideas. And again, we can add a little bit more shading and a bit more definition. So that actually should be going that way, that line. So it's just worth checking how things are drawn and how they should look. That's probably going to go across there, so that's actually different again. And you can see how this is building up. There are other spaces on the page that I'd like to fill as well, so it might be as well that rather than drawing in 3D, you might like to just draw in 2D. So perhaps we've got a few ideas here forming where I've got the back of a chair and a seat that comes up like this. So I've got quite a flowing shape here, and the legs like this, for example. You know, you don't have to draw in 3D. You can draw in 2D as well. And then again, adding some detail, perhaps the thickness of the material used and how it's going to form. Perhaps I need an armrest there, just as an idea. I don't know, I'm just making this up as I go along, which is exactly what we want you to try and do as well. Okay, I could come back and obviously add some more shading and things. I started another one here which is on a central pedestal. It's not finished, but they are ideas. Okay, and the other key thing to remember is once you've got your ideas all on your page, just add a few points of annotation. So I'm not going to actually write around here, but imagine I have. Okay, pop some little arrows in, little bits of information, and you can soon see that that's coming together as quite a nice sheet of work. So as part of this induction lesson, we'll also expect you to be doing some quick modelling or prototyping. So I'm just going to run through some equipment that you might be able to get your hands on at home. If not, don't worry, there are lots of alternatives. So lots of different tape options, from masking tape, double-sided and sellotape. So you could see if you could use those. Paper clips, split pins, scissors, a craft knife if you have it, but if you don't worry. Maybe a ruler as well. Blue tack's really useful, so you could always use that as well. And most importantly, just some scraps of card. So I've just got some old bits of packaging and corrugated card from things that have been delivered in the post recently. So you could use those as well. So there are a few techniques that I'd like to show you. Firstly, really quickly, you can lock together two pieces of card quite simply. This was done by literally cutting two shapes, and you can see I've put a slot in each one like that, and then you can slot them together like this. So therefore you've got a lock in place. Now you don't need to use it in that way, you could use it in any way you like, for smaller parts or large or different shapes and so on. Another technique that is really good is taking card and scoring it in lines along like this, so that you're able to bend it around a curve. So you can see how I've stuck this on just with a bit of sellotape on the inside. It's not very glamorous on the inside, but on the outside it looks quite neat, and it's just a quick way of doing that. With regard to scoring, here's a little piece of corrugated card. You can see that the corrugated edge runs along here, and it works much better if you score the lines in line with those, okay? So what I would suggest you do is, if you've got a craft knife, brilliant, use a ruler, obviously, so you keep it away from your fingers, and you can score through the top layer of cardboard. If you haven't got a craft knife, you can use a pair of scissors, just open them up very carefully like this, and use them just to score the top layer. You'll get the same effect. Just obviously be really careful. Close the scissors, put them to one side, and you'll find then that what you've got, even though it was a rigid piece of corrugated card to begin with, you can now create a shape from that. So you've got a nice curved shape that you can attach to something else. Okay, so that's another idea. Other things you could do, I mean, I've just done some random shapes here, but you could quite easily stick things with blue tack. You can create little shapes to fold things so they can stand, that sort of thing. So there's lots of different things you can do with that. This here, I've just taken a piece of packaging which already has a fold in it, and then I've cut off strips from that, from each length here, and then I've attached them with a split pin. So I've got a sort of fan shape there, which you could use for something. Obviously, you need to be looking at your ideas to see what you might be able to do, and so on. And then just very quickly, you can obviously attach things with paper clips. Okay, very simply, just like that. Pop it back in. The other thing to bear in mind is you can be quite rough with just sellotape and sticking together, or little bits of masking tape are useful because they stick on anything, obviously. And they don't rip when you pull them apart either. Okay, so just a few techniques that I hope will help with your next challenge. Okay.